It appeared in the year 2014. The seasonal reversal and comment on your answers. This is called second question, Southwest monsoons, where the Hello everyone. In this video, let's understand what are monsoons and its impact on Indian economy. To begin with, did you know who is the first person to use the word monsoons? It was Arab trader and sailor with the name Al-Masudi. He was the first person to use the word Mausam. Eventually, with the coming of Europeans into India, this turned out to be monsoons. RBI, in its report, State of Economy, it stated that the adverse southwest monsoons may have overweight on domestic growth and inflation outlook. You'd be confusing why RBI is talking about monsoons and why the words such as inflation, domestic growth came up. By end of this video, you will be clearly knowing why RBI use these things. Monsoons are seasonal reversal of winds that are reversed due to differential heating of land and ocean. For example, if you see the scenario of summer, let's say this is India and it is land, and we are having Arabian Sea here or Indian Ocean, right? In summers, during the summer day, the land get heated up very fastly when compared to water, right? We all know this thing. Because of this reason, if the land gets heated up faster, the air above it also gets warmer. If the air gets warmer, we know if air is warmer, it rises. The same way, the air above this land rises and creating a zone of low pressure. As you know, we need to maintain balance in everything. The same way, air also tries to maintain balance. For this reason, the low pressure zone is created. Some air from the surroundings will be coming and filling this low pressure to maintain the balance. This air will be coming from oceans, because if we compare the pressures between the land and ocean at that situation of sunny day, the land is having low pressure. Eventually, if you compare the pressure over ocean with land, it is high pressure, right? The air from oceans will be coming and filling this gap. This is called as southwest monsoons, where the air coming from oceans will be bringing moisture, and this will be leading to rainfall over the land. Understood? You might be seeing the word southwest here. Why it is called as southwest? If you see the directions, north, east, south, west, these winds coming from ocean are entering to India from the direction of southwest. For that reason, it is called as southwest monsoons. At what point of year these will be entering into India? At the time of June till September, they'll be in India. Understood? These are called as southwest monsoons. They'll be traveling, entering from southwest, and they'll be spreading across the country. Let's see the characteristics of southwest monsoons. It hits on the coast of Kerala and proceeds across the country. It occurs from June to September during every year. It not only reduces the summer heat over the land, but also contributes to country's ecosystem and also economy. Let's understand how economy in later parts of the video. These southwest monsoons are the key factor why kharif crops grow. You know that 60% of agriculture that is grown in India is rain-fed, meaning this agriculture is grown with the help of water that is coming through rains, right? And next thing, more than 70% of country's annual rainfall is received from southwest monsoon. Let's say if country is getting 100 millimeters of rainfall every year, out of this 100 millimeters of rainfall, 70 millimeters of rainfall is coming from southwest monsoons alone. That is what these lines means. And LPI is 880 mm. What is LPI here? It is long period average. What is long period average? You might be hearing this for the first time. The name itself suggests it is long period average taken. The average of previous 50 years is taken, it is the average of rainfall that occurred during the time of June to September. Those values of past 50 years are taken and made a benchmark indicator called as long period average. And this is 880 mm for India. What if southwest monsoons fail? For example, if monsoons fail, we read 60% of crops that are grown are rain-fed, right? These 60% of crops are failed. For example, every year a country is growing 100 apples. Out of these 100 apples, 60 apples exclusively are grown with the help of water that is coming from rains. Getting? Now, if that monsoon or if that rains doesn't come to India, these 60 apples will not be growing. Only 40 apples will be present, right? With these 40 apples, the country is having 100 people. These 100 people need to utilize only 40 apples that were present. If 100 people need to utilize 40 apples, then prices of 40 apples will increase. Those who can afford that 40 apples, they can only purchase, right? This is called as rationing. If prices are increasing, then it is called as inflation. Not the mere price increase. If the prices are increasing without changing quality and quantity, then it is called as inflation, right? If inflation hits, what happens? Economic growth reduces. If economic growth reduces, then overall GDP reduces. If GDP reduces, countries going down the list in top richest economies. That is why monsoons are key factors for a country like India. Next thing, this is northeast monsoons. These northeast monsoons occur from October to December. Northeast monsoons mean these are coming from this direction into India. Understood? These are not stronger when compared to southwest monsoons. It is also saying these northeast monsoons affect peninsular India more. And these northeast monsoons help in growing rabi crops, as it is the time for sowing the seeds to rabi crops. It impacts certain states in south of India such as Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, where 43% of annual rainfall occurs due to northwest monsoons, exclusively in Tamil Nadu. This line is saying in Tamil Nadu, out of 100% rainfall, which every year it gets, 43% exclusively comes from northeast monsoons. It is creating a huge impact over the south of India states. This northeast monsoons is also called as retreating monsoons or reverse monsoons, and also called as winter monsoons. And next thing, what are the major causes that affect the monsoons of India? There are plenty of causes mixed together to affect the monsoons in India, but out of them, they are El Nino, Indian Ocean Dipole, Madden-Julian oscillation. During normal situations, think of this as South America. If this is South America and it is Indonesia, what would happen in this case? In between, we are having Pacific Ocean. I am using the different colors. I am using green for the normal conditions. During the normal conditions, what happened? You know, there is a term called as trade winds. These winds move from east to west, meaning they are going to move from South America towards Indonesian coast, right? Now, if winds are moving, they are going to take some water with them. Warm water which is present over here, it will be taken by trade winds from south of America's coast, and they are going to be deposited in Indonesia. This is warm water. Okay, if warm water is deposited here, Indonesia and the countries surrounding it, they'll be having enough moisture that helps in getting rainfall. This is during normal situations. But what happens during the time of El Nino? There is a term called as El Nino. I am using red for this. During the time of El Nino, the trade winds will not be having much energy to carry the warm waters towards the Indonesian coast. For that reason, they'll be bringing the warm water towards the coast of South America, and the warm water are deposited here, meaning there is no moisture that is present here, and there is no rainfall during the El Nino conditions at Indonesian coast and countries surrounding it. That is called as El Nino. Remember, E means empty rainfall or no rainfall. There is another term which we use frequently called as La Nina. I am using blue for this. During La Nina conditions, it is quite opposite to El Nino. Remember, El means lots of rain. During the La Nina climatic phenomenon, what happens? The trade wind's energy is so high that it carries warm water at excessive rates towards the coast of Indonesia. If excessive rates of water are deposited here, what would happen? Moisture is high. If moisture is high, there is abundant rainfall over the Indonesia and countries surrounding it. Understood? And this La Nina conditions bring in floods sometimes because there is excessive rainfall. Getting? This is El Nino and La Nina conditions. And in neutral conditions, what happens? Energy of trade winds is neutral. It brings some portion of warm water towards the coast of Indonesia, and they'll be depositing there, and cool water from South America. Cool water upwells and creates the balance there, keeping South American coast dry and cool, and keeping the Indonesian coast warm and wet. This is the normal conditions. That is called as El Nino and La Nina. And what is southern oscillations? The movement of winds towards the each coast, El Nino and La Nina, is called as southern oscillations, where like a pendulum of clock, the winds will be moving. And there is another concept called as Indian Ocean Dipole. What it is? Let's understand. For example, if this is India, and towards the west of India, we are having Africa, right? We are having Africa here towards the west of India, right? And we are having Indian Ocean here. In Indian Ocean, draw directions for Indian Ocean. It is the western side of Indian Ocean and it is eastern side of Indian Ocean. If the western side of Indian Ocean temperature is more than the average temperature, then it is called as positive Indian Ocean dipole. The same way, if eastern side of Indian Ocean temperature is more than its average, then it is called as negative Indian Ocean dipole. These Indian Ocean dipoles helps India in getting monsoons. This positive Indian dipole will be getting monsoons inside the India. If it is negative Indian Ocean dipole, meaning if eastern side of Indian Ocean is generally warmer, then we will not be having monsoons. That is Indian Ocean dipole. This also plays a crucial factor in getting monsoons to India. It is also called as Indian Nino. Same as El Nino, it is called as Indian Nino. And third thing, Madden-Julian oscillation. Think of it as a rain-bearing cloud system. This rain-bearing cloud system, what does it do? It moves at the equator for every 30 to 60 days. If this cloud system is near to India, what happens? For example, if this is cloud, I am changing the color. If this is the cloud which is near India, what happens? There will be abundant rainfall inside India. The same way, if Madden-Julian oscillation, this cloud is far away from India, then dry conditions prevail in India. That is Madden-Julian oscillation. These three factors contribute for monsoons in India. And next thing, why monsoon is considered as a lifeline for Indian economy? First thing, nearly 60% of sown area is still rain-fed. As we discussed, out of 100 crops that were grown, 60 crops are dependent on water which is coming from rain directly. And next thing, inflation. For example, if monsoons are high, what happens? Agricultural output will be high. If agricultural output is high, then supply and demand are equal, or supply is slightly more than demand. Then what happens? Inflation will be at normal rates. If inflation is at normal rates, what happens? Country's economy grow. If country economy grow, the GDP figures grows. Understood? That is the benefit of monsoons for India. The same way, if monsoons are less, what happens? The agricultural productivity will be reduced. If agricultural productivity is reduced, what happens? Supply will be less when compared to demand. If supply is less than demand, inflation rises. If inflation rises, growth reduces. If growth reduces, GDP reduces. That is how inflation is linked with monsoons. And talking about interest rates, the same example, if the monsoons are high, the supply is equal to demand, inflation is at permissible limit. Then what happens? RBI's interest rate will be at mean level. Same way, if inflation is high, to control that inflation, RBI keeps or increases interest rates. That is how interest rates and monsoons are interlinked. Talking about hydroelectric projects, for example, if there is abundance of rain, what happens? The reservoirs would fill up. If reservoirs are filled up, what would happen? Hydroelectricity is produced with the help of excessive rainwater that is present in reservoir, right? The same way, if monsoons are weak, what would happen? The reservoirs wouldn't be filled up. If reservoirs would not filled up, what would happen? There is a possibility that hydroelectric projects would be stalled up. That is how hydroelectric project is linked with monsoons. And talking about drinking water, if monsoons are high, rivers would be filled up with rainwater. If rivers are filled up with rainwater, what would happen? Then the groundwater would be recharged. If groundwater is recharged, the drinking water is present for both urban areas and rural areas without any interruption. That is how drinking water is linked with monsoons. And talking about industries, the raw material which are necessary for industries, for example, cotton and sugarcane for creating ethanol. All these are produced by agriculture output, right? If monsoons are high, agricultural output will be high. In fact, industries will be getting raw materials for production. That is how industries and monsoons are interlinked. Talking about employment. What is employment here? For example, if monsoons are high, then farmers will produce more. If farmers are producing more, then labor is needed more. That creates rural economy. That is how employment and monsoons are interlinked. The same way, if monsoons are high, agricultural output is high, productivity is high, then if supply is more than demand, then exports are high, growth increases, and GDP figures also increases. This makes India one of the strongest economy. That is why monsoons are considered the lifeline for a country like India. And let's see PYQs in this regard, which appeared in UPSC. The first PYQ, it appeared in the year 2014. The seasonal reversal of winds is the typical characteristic of option A, equatorial climate, Mediterranean climate, monsoon climate, all of the above climate. Pause the video and comment on your answers. Second question, with reference to Indian Ocean Dipole, sometimes mentioned in the news, testing Indian monsoons, which of the following statements are correct? It appeared in the year 2018. First statement says, this is a phenomenon characterized by difference in sea surface temperatures between tropical Western Indian Ocean and tropical Eastern Pacific Ocean. Read the statement carefully. Second statement, an Indian Ocean dipole phenomenon can influence an El Nino impact on the monsoon. Pause the video and comment your answers. Third statement, with reference to monsoons in India, consider the following statements. The southwest monsoons bring more than half of India's annual rainfall. The above normal rainfall is attributed mainly to the El Nino conditions. Remember the word El Nino, E, and La Nina, L. E mane empty rainfall, L mane lots of rain. Third option, okay, third statement, during the northeast monsoon, the direction of monsoon winds is from southwest to northeast. How many of the statements given above are correct? Pause the video and comment your answers. Fourth question, with reference to northeast monsoons, consider the following statements. About 75% of country's annual rainfall is received from northeast monsoons. It is, second statement, it is confined to southern peninsula with Tamil Nadu accounting for maximum rainfall. Read the first statement very carefully. It is saying 75% of country's annual rainfall for the northeast monsoons. And third statement, it is also known as winter monsoons. We read it is also called as reversal monsoons and it is also called as retreating monsoons. Pause the video and comment your answers. Option A says only one of the above statements is correct. Option B says only two of them is correct. Option C says all three are correct. Option D says none of them are correct. So pause the video and comment all of your answers. Thank you.